So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos like this. And don't be mad. Don't be mad if you spend $4 grand on the Panasonic S1H. So I got a few notes that I wrote down on my phone that I'm gonna read to you guys really quick just to make this video a lot shorter, and I'm not going off on a bit of a rant talking about the different specs on the camera. And this is some stuff that I just figured out today, which actually sort of blew my mind a little bit. And I know S1H owners are absolutely gonna hate this about the S1H versus the Panasonic S5. So here we go. On the Panasonic S1H, you're actually shooting full-blown 6K video, where on the S5 you're only shooting 5K resolution. The S1H actually shoots 6K at a 3:2 aspect ratio also, but it's actually using the full sensor versus the S5, which is using only 18 megapixels, which is about 3/4 of the sensor. The megabytes per second are the same on both cameras while recording 6K internally. It's 200 megabytes per second, 6K internally on both cameras. Even though the S5 is technically shooting at a lower resolution of 5K, it's still being shot at 200 megabytes per second, so I don't think you'll see much of a difference, even though the difference is slightly a little bit sharper. You can make out the letters a little bit more when you zoom into 1000%, but nobody's zooming into 1000%. So 5K, 6K, they're sort of almost the same thing on the Panasonic S5 and the S1H internal. They both shoot at 10-bit 420 and at H.265 at 200 megabytes per second. So in that sense, they're both almost identical. The autofocus continuous is going to work better on the Panasonic S5 because it's using less of that sensor, and I really don't need to know why it works better. As long as I know that it does, then I have that as an option, and when I crop into the sensor, I know that the autofocus is going to be better. So if it's a scene where I want the autofocus to be 100%, I'll either use 4K cropped in or I'll use 6K cropped in. So while recording 6K on the Panasonic S5, the autofocus is going to be better than recording 6K on the Panasonic S1H.
Clear blue skies, breeze in the air, your sunset.
And this is the post office in Times Square, and this thing has been under construction for like the past 10 years, or as long as I can remember.
In this moment, let's lose track of time. I just wanna get away with you, with you. I just wanna get away with you, with you. I can find a space between you and you. I just wanna get away.
So that building right there is built with holes in between some of the floors, and the reason why is because it's so close to the water that the wind would actually cause it to sway back and forth a little bit too much. And as you guys can see back there in the background also, if it's not blown out right there, that has holes, and way above there it also has holes, and that's the honeycomb. It's actually a temporary name that they gave it, so it's not the permanent name that the artist gave it, but he just needed to name it, so he named it the honeycomb temporarily.
I just wanna get away with you, with you. I just wanna get.
If you're a tourist, these guys are going to charge you anywhere from $5 to $8 for a hot dog or a water bottle. And then if you're a local, you're looking to spend about $1 to $1.50. So usually two for $3. But if you're a tourist, oh, you're getting gypped. Right off the back, I can tell you that they're going to charge you like $8 for a hot dog. The Panasonic S1H has no recording limits while recording 6K, where the Panasonic S5 has a 15-minute limit while recording 6K. So that might be a deal breaker for some, but most of my clips don't last nowhere near 15 minutes. In fact, the longest my clip lasts is when I'm doing a shot like this where I'm talking to the camera, and it might last somewhere to 5 to maybe upwards of 10 minutes. But either way, I could just hit the record button again and record another 15 minutes. The S1H is twice as heavy, or at least it feels like it is twice as heavy. I mean, that thing is bulky and is huge and is heavy. People would say, well, the ergonomics of the camera is a little bit better. To me, in my opinion, it's not better. It's just heavy. It's heavier. It's going to hurt your wrist. It's going to tire you out more. The ergonomics on the Panasonic S5 are absolutely fine. Now, both are weather sealed, even though the Panasonic S1H has a vent or a fan built into the camera. Is actually not an internal vent. It's just a cap over the physical camera. So essentially, if you ask me, the cameras might be 100% identical. They might be the exact same camera. It's just that the Panasonic S5 doesn't have the vent. But the internals, as far as the processor and all that other stuff, they might be 100% identical. We already know that they have the same sensor. It's just that the Panasonic S5 doesn't have a low pass filter and the S1H does. What does that mean? It means pretty much that the Panasonic S5 gets a little better sharpness resolution, probably like 1 or 2%, but it is a little better. But in low light scenarios like this one, if there was a lot of angles in my background, like a fence or something like that, then you would see a little bit more of distortion in the shot, but not a whole lot more either. Like, it's not like something crazy where it's gonna ruin the shot. On smaller sensor cameras like a Osmo or a GoPro, something like that, then you'll absolutely notice it if it doesn't have a low pass filter, which most of them don't. But on a full frame sensor camera, you're not going to notice a difference, and you'll get better performance out of the low light because it doesn't have the low pass filter. Not, like I said, 1 to 2%, so not enough to make a whole lot of a difference. So what's my conclusion? Is the Panasonic S1H worth $2,000 more than the Panasonic S5? I highly doubt that it's worth $2,000 more. I don't even think it's worth, I would say it's worth $500 more if you want to have internal 6K at a full frame sensor, because in low light, internal 6K from the Panasonic S1H is going to outperform it by 25% more in low light. Anyways, this video was longer than I thought it would be. I said I only talk about for 5 minutes when I'm doing shots like this, but it's already been 7 minutes and 44 seconds. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos like this. And don't be mad. Don't be mad if you spend $4,000 on the Panasonic S1H and the Panasonic S5 literally performs just as good. Maybe the S1H performs a little bit better, but don't be mad. Still hit the thumbs up. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. By the way, this whole entire video was edited on the iPad Pro. This is the 2020 model of the iPad Pro 11-inch because the 12-inch is too big and too bulky for me. And I've pretty much been editing all my videos on LumaFusion for about a year now. I started off on the iPhone 11 Pro Max, and then I bought the iPad when I found out that I was really going to edit videos on LumaFusion. Then I went ahead and bought the iPad Pro, and this is where I edit all of my videos on from now on. The program only costs $30, color grade, it has LUTs built into it and everything else. So I'll show you guys a quick LUT. The Filmic LUT, this is like my favorite LUT to use. The program's pretty legit. It's only $30, and it's a lifetime of $30 with upgrades unlimited as long as you have the program, or as long as you use the program. Sort of like Final Cut. And yeah, that's what I've been editing all my videos on. So see you guys on the next one. Peace.